Hello everyone, this is Flosscat and welcome to another reaction. Now, the thing is, I was not planning to do a reaction video today. I was actually instead planning to do a Pokemon thing, but yet for some reason my fucking internet is stupid. Right now you can tell I'm very grumpy with that and other things. But today, I'm going to go ahead and instead react to a video that I've been wondering if I should react. And it's called I Hate Game Freak, aka a rant towards, well, Pokemon, which obviously this is going to be weird because we all know that I'm a big fan of. So, let's see how this rant goes. I already reacted a couple of rants before of this, but let's see how bad this is. Of course, original is down below. Let's do this. Really?
For some reason, I'm considered by many to be a Pokemon hater. I mean, it could be because of the fact that I make fun of Pokemon fanboys at every single opportunity I have, but I think it needs to be made clear that I really don't hate Pokemon. In fact, this is a franchise I grew up with that I have a lot of nostalgia for. I've discussed this in the past. I was at that perfect age when Pokemania first started. I think I was in like 4th grade. I was into the games, the cards. I remember waking up early to watch the anime, going to see the first Pokemon movie in the theater. Yeah, I still have vivid memories of that.
That's the stupid thing. If you don't hate Pokemon, then why you're making a fucking video of it? That makes no sense. I understand that you have to critique a game. In fact, believe it or not, like, I actually did a review of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I still back up to Sword and Shield's review. I mean, I forgot a little bit what it was. But that's only because even I took critique of the fact that Pokemon Sword and Shield lacked in story mode and there's some other things. But at least my review is much more better than most of the other reviews I have seen so far of that thing. And I understand this ain't a video about reviewing that game, it's about what's going on with Game Freak, but that still begs the question. Like, let me give you another example. Not like I have done this before. In fact, as you guys obviously know, I made a video that I didn't want to, and turns out that I was right to not wanting to, because oh boy, that was turn out a disaster. But that's the point. Why make the video?
So much nostalgia. The problem I have with the Pokemon franchise is actually very simple. I love Pokemon, but I hate Game Freak. Game Freak is easily, in my opinion, one of the worst, laziest developers, I'd say. I don't know. If I think about it really hard, is there a development studio that I would consider to be lazier than Game Freak? I don't know. I don't think so.
I can. Believe it or not, there's multiple. Like, have you forgotten about the studio who brought you Meme Run that put it on the Wii U? Apparently, no one remembers that because apparently people never own a fucking Wii U, jokingly speaking. Like, believe it or not, you may think Game Freak is a lazy company, but I can guarantee you that they're not really lazy. And again, it sounds even weirder when this thing came out 2 weeks ago. This is literally after DLC. So, saying they're lazy is not true. They have a truly proven point that they're not lazy. They done multiple things. They went through the shit that many people who shouldn't really put them on went through the shit that they put them on, and it's just really stupid.
Able to just leech on this popular franchise for the majority of my lifetime, and I feel like it's really peaking this generation. It's like people are really starting to pay attention to it. We've had these Pokemon games that were expected by many to be this big upgrade for the franchise. I mean, the excitement before Pokemon Sword and Shield were released, Pokemon was probably the franchise that people were most excited, I'd say, to see on Nintendo Switch, because they expected this, to see some big changes with this being the franchise's first appearance on an HD system, the Nintendo Switch. We heard about all this work that had been going into remaking the models in that for the Pokemon, supposedly.
Okay, So, yeah, boy. So this part I do agree on a little bit. Even though, really, when it comes to Pokemon, I'm surprised people put too many high expectations on not just Pokemon, but very much the video game. Like, the only thing that you can put high expectations on is Smash Brothers, because it shows time and time again. The fact that they still put Sephiroth, Steve, and Joker in Smash, and a bunch of other characters, is literally like the fact of Steve in general just shows how much you can expect high things from Smash. But other than that, all the other Nintendo properties, my question is, really? Like Nintendo, like I can't. I know this sounds like an ultimate defense, but really, Nintendo is a different company, and that's the reason why I like Nintendo in general. Like, I don't like Xbox or PlayStation that much, or I mean, Sony and Microsoft, is because they try to make them things too will. Yes, I played some of their games that beforehand, like Minecraft and Persona, but I played them on the Switch and blah blah because such and such. But still, I prefer Nintendo's own because it's much more greater. As being said that, though, I kind of see why people thought it was going to be a big experience. To me, I felt like it was because it's much more HD. It's playing on fucking TV, to my opinion, and even then, stuff like that. And actually, beforehand, this wasn't the first console. The real first Pokemon game console was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Even though some are still debating whether or not if it's even in canon of the story itself, because it's confusing as hell. However, as for the Pokemon models, that part was... I'm not even going to defend that now, because to be fair, I do think there probably still are new models. I guess what they meant was more like they replaced some of the triangles in there. But even I cannot defend that the fact that there was evidence to prove it. But then again, my question and opinion is, really? Do we really need to judge graphics in video games? There are a certain extent of yes, but this is a little bit of a question, do we really need to? Because it still looks like a good game. Like, I remember, and there's this game coming up I want to try out, because I seen one of the YouTubers I follow, Princess Luna Ninjago, or Luna Princess Ninjago, or however you pronounce her name, play, which is, I forgot what it was, but many people was considering as the Breath of the Wild ripoff. I want to play that game! Because it looks awesome. And people are like, well, it looks a little bit garbage or blah, blah, blah. Waifu, blah, blah, blah. But I want to play that crap. That's actually it's a pretty good looking game, and I do want to play it. And I will play it on my computer, but I don't want, but I already tested out my computer and its engine is crappy, so I want to play it on the Switch instead. And it is coming out for Switch, by the way. I forgot was it Impact? It was something Impact. But anyways, the point is, do we really need to judge graphics? It's just stupid.
Very weird when you look at these models side by side with the 3DS games that you'd put so
I mean, look at this. This looks way more better than that. Even though, yes, it probably is the same model, it looks way better. So what the fuck? It makes no sense.
Models when, I gotta be honest with you, they look identical to me, but what do I know? That was also the reason, don't forget, that we couldn't have all the Pokemon included in the game at launch, why they claimed at least they couldn't, and we still don't have all the Pokemon in the game. The inclusion of bringing more of the old Pokemon in just happened to coincide with the DLC packs that you had to pay for, and if you wanted to transfer...
Okay, first of all, I don't know if this guy is a dumbass, but I want to point out that he's being like one. Because here's the thing. You don't need to pay the freaking DLC. The transfer of Pokemon was Superman free. The DLC part was just the, broader, newer Pokemon you could get. However, like, Regidrago. But the rest of the original boxes... In fact, the reason why they put out that DLC in the first place was they already had a plan, plus also they were busy. was also to get people to have their Pokemon in the game in the first place. And even then, again, you don't have to pay the fucking DLC. You can have those Pokemon even beforehand. Some of the mythicals were coming into the game already. So this is bullshit. This is really bullshit. Because a lot of people keep misconcepting, oh, you gotta pay DLC to have these Pokemon. No, you don't. You don't have to buy the freaking suspension pass. They're passed for just more game content. The only thing that's free is you get more Pokemon from there, and you don't even need the DLC to, get it. Heck, I got Necrozma way before Crown Tundra. So, what the fuck? It actually is a fact. I think you guys already seen that.
Your old Pokemon from the old games in, at least effectively, you'd have to sign up for the overpriced Pokemon Home service.
And second of all, more importantly, that thing will... Wait, did he said Pokemon Home? That's even more stupid, because Pokemon Home, I don't think that's very pricey. And even then, it's actually free. I actually do use Pokemon Home. Yes, I use it. I don't use it that much. And even then, I don't stack too much Pokemon on it. But I actually use it, and it's free. Yes, you gotta pay more to do stuff, but I just do it for free, and it still works fine. What the fuck?
They just love squeezing all the money they can out of the consumer for one of the most laughable games in terms of quality, I'm going to be honest with you. And of course, all throughout, Pokemon fanboys told us, just be grateful that you're able to give them money at all. I always find it hilarious when fanboys for any franchise try to tell people to be grateful. I'm the one giving them money. Do you not understand how this works? If I don't buy the game, I just go buy another game. If people don't buy their game, they don't exist. And I'm the one that should be grateful. But anyway, I'm bringing this up because this...
You make no sense whatsoever. None at all. To be fair, well, yes, there's some bit of truth in it. You can't really... And I will admit, some of the other defenders of Pokemon were kind of idiot. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this whole thing was garbage. The whole fight of this was garbage in the first place. But to be fair, that is kind of true in the fact that at least we got it on the console in the first place. This is just a test run. And I don't think... And if people did say that, I will admit that's stupid. But for me, I would just say be grateful that at least it's on the console in general. Because they could have just stuck with the 3DS. And I will admit that Pokemon is a millionaire. That's literally it. It has money as a company. But really, I don't see your point in that at all.
Discussion I think is worth having now, worth focusing on, because last week we got another trailer for new Pokemon Snap being made by Bandai Namco, an actual competent studio, and it really drives home, I feel like, when you look at this game, just how behind the Pokemon games look in terms of visual quality. I mean, I made an innocent tweet just comparing the latest Pokemon games, of course, Sword and Shield, side by side with this spin-off game, Pokemon Snap, that's going to sell a fraction of the copies the core games sell, and it's night and day. And this made some people upset, saying things like, oh, you used a bad screenshot on purpose, which, let me be straight with you, that argument right away, oh, you're cherry-picking bad screenshots, when people do what I did with the water, or if people look at the infamous trees.
Yeah.
I'm going to be straight with you guys. It's not hard to get a bad-looking screenshot in Pokemon Sword and Shield. The big excuse I saw...
Actually, in actuality... Yes, it kind of is hard because some of the areas do look great, mind you. So I don't see how it was hard enough for you to get. Even though I'm not saying your point is correct, because it does, this does look like a great game and stuff like that. Again, I am not seeing your point. That's my thing. I'm not seeing your point at all. What I'm seeing right now is you're just babbling on. It sounds like you're saying you want Nacom Home Tech to buy out Game Freak for some fucking reason. Because, really, I have no idea what the hell to spec with this.
The fanboy site as well. New Pokemon Snap is on rails. You're just going around taking pictures of Pokemon. Which that's the classic defense for Game Freak's Pokemon games. Was the same when Bandai also did Pokken Tournament back on the Wii U, which also looks 100 times better than Sword and Shield.
Okay, to be perfectly honest, first of all, you're comparing that from Wii U game, which I guess that makes that jokingly a little bit worse, of course. Second of all, more importantly, to my opinion, even though I love Pokken Tournament, I still play it, even though I don't have it on Switch. I have it on the old-fashioned Wii U. Pokken Tournament looks awful, really, to my opinion. Like, it looks fine. Yes, it looks fine. It looks, awesome, but it's not my sort of style. Like, it's some of the fur textures and all that looks, And I would have preferred the more pastel colors that Pokemon give us. I still think, out of literally the only two Switch games I think is the greatest that look in best in quality is Smash and Sword and Shield. And I know a lot of you guys are going to kick my ass for saying that, which I don't mind. I'll stick out my ass so you guys can kick it out. Because here's the thing, I stick to my words. Because freaking Super Smash Brothers looked awesome no matter what. They really do. They upgraded better. They actually combined Brawl and 4 together, to my opinion. Even though I know that's probably not real, but it feels that way because they did it much more better than how I feel like they did in 4. Still doesn't mean it looked better. Doesn't mean that 4 looked better than Brawl, but still. But my point is, I don't want a Pokemon game that looks too realistic. I want a Pokemon game that looks like a fucking cartoon. What the actual fuck, man?
Which came out much more recently. Pokken Tournament obviously also runs on the Nintendo Switch. With that, they go, oh, well, that's a fighting...
Oh, here's another thing, dumbass. This came from the Wii U. Seriously, what the fuck? Did he even know this? Like, if he's referring to the DX, that's fine. But even then, that doesn't count.
Game. Not the same as having a big open RPG, which I gotta say, I laugh about the idea of the Pokemon Sword and Shield being this big open RPG. I haven't played many RPGs that are more linear than Sword and Shield. That's about as linear as it gets for an RPG. The idea people like me are trying to point out when we look at something like New Pokemon Snap is that this is what's actually possible on the hardware in terms of models, animations, and that. And I'm not saying that the core Pokemon games need to look as good as these. It doesn't need to look as good as a game that's on rails or a fighting game.
Then what's the point? Why are you making this in the first place? Dumbass? You actually are being a dumbass.
Pokemon game Sword and Shield, even if you want to throw Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in there as well, they don't even come close. These core Pokemon games don't even look like they should be on the same system as these spin-offs. I talked about this in my original review for Sword and Shield back in 2019. Still having those awful non-animations, I guess I'd call them, where they just pick the whole Pokemon model up and down as an attack animation, or the spinning in place that went viral for characters to do a turn. This crap would have been embarrassing on the PS2. And like I said, I think it's just getting more apparent as others are doing more with the
actually, PS2 actually has some games that look like that, dumbass. Like, literally. I was thinking you have ever played Stretch Panic now, which is actually a game I used to play and it's pretty awesome. Look it up. It's a real game. But you're comparing a game that actually looks way better than even Stretch Panic, because he's saying it looked like embarrassment for PS2, and I'm like, PS2 had some games that look weird, dude. So, and this looks more better than that. And believe me, I know because I played some of the PS2 games. And let me just say, some of them were okay, but they're not as big. They weren't big graphically as freaking Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Pokemon IP and just embarrassing it on every level. Still, you'll hear the same parrot, oh, well, those aren't RPGs. Gee, guys, it's almost like Game Freak are the only ones allowed to make a core Pokemon RPG. And if you fanboys, if you dare to venture outside the world of Pokemon into other actual massive open world RPGs on the Switch, even bigger and more expansive than Sword and Shield. I know it's hard to believe that there are RPGs out there on the Nintendo Switch, bigger, more open than the series of hallways you'll find in Sword and Shield. But yeah, you've got titles like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Dragon Quest XI, again, more expansive, infinitely more content held within compared to Sword and Shield, and they look way better. It's almost like if you look at any other AAA game that's on modern hardware, it blows the core Pokemon games out of the water. Again,
Well, here's the thing, dumbass. And I'm literally calling him a dumbass now because this guy is a fool. Like, he's probably stuffing dynamite up his ass and just laid it off saying, like, oh yeah, here's a volcano. That's literally what I'm seeing here. First of all, Pokemon games aren't made like the ARGs you're mentioning. Believe me, the ARGs he's mentioning right there is more towards teenagers and adults. And even then, goes one step further, just playing young adults and adults in general. And yes, you can still play this as a teenager and blah blah. Here's the thing. Dragon Quest, if I recall correctly, is either rated teen for teen or rated M. And of course, Xenoblade Chronicles, I know for sure, is freaking rated teen. So, Pokemon is made for kids in general. Now, of course, everyone can enjoy Pokemon. Let me point that out. But the original area that Pokemon is choosing to go is toward kids in the first place. It's the same thing like freaking My Little Pony. Yes, there's adult fans and they have, give us adult content with it. And surprisingly did not even took it out for fiction, in my opinion. But the point is, its general audience is still kids. That's the point of the entire series. So, my point is, your arguments are not making sense or not adding up at all. It's just being constant rambling. And yes, I can tell he's not joking that he's not trying to be a hater, which I can agree. He's trying to literally attack Game Freak, but even then, he's not doing a good job at it at all. Like, I'm not getting anything at all. All I'm getting is just plain complaints that has contradictions that are just plain stupid.
It's not about them just being, like, a little bit better. I'm saying it's not even close. Oh, but Shy Guy, do those games have Pokemon Sword and Shield's revolutionary adjustable camera? Remember when Game Freak was like, we can't wait to see players' reaction to being able to control the camera in the wild areas in this game? Literally treating it as if that's some big new thing. And these games, when I use these comparisons, keep in mind, like I was saying, sell a fraction of what the Pokemon games do. Sword and Shield is at what, like almost 20 million? If other JRPGs even manage to sell a few million, that's typically really good. That's another thing I hear people acting like, oh, they don't have the resources. Game Freak's not that big of a team. Okay, well then use some of the hundreds of millions of dollars you're getting from this game to hire more people if you have to. I like the idea that a game series consistently doing these kinds of numbers is short on resources is simply laughable. And I'm not done with the sales because we got to talk about that. We got to talk about every...
This guy is really... I don't even know what to say. Because here's the thing. They did confirm they split the team up to 2 now. That's the point. They split it up for 2. And even then... I mean, what the hell?
And that's the other big defense people use for Game Freak's Pokemon games. Well, look at the sales. They sell incredibly well. So that must mean they're good. People are buying them, and that's all that matters. For one, if sales making money is the most important thing in terms of determining a game's quality, then you guys all must be big mobile game fans. Those must be some of your favorite games, because a lot of mobile games generate...
Okay, first of all, mobile games are crap to me. I don't even have Pokemon Go. That's a fact. I am more of a PC and freaking this. Like, the only mobile game I ever played, which was actually pretty awesome, was Azure Lane. But I couldn't play it anymore because, it costs data for this fucking phone. Anyway, second of all, and more importantly, that is a good point, but to be fair, someone must be playing it, and someone who obviously, like myself, who don't give a shit about fucking graphics, don't really matter. Plus, it's not like it's unplayable. Like, it really is not like, the way he's describing this is my opinion. He's acting like Game Freak can't make shit, is my opinion, is what he's saying. And I'm like, okay, so a little bit of an interesting sorry with that. Kind of actually had to come here because A, my freaking thing is charging, literally. And B, turns out the video was cut off yet again. Luckily, that's not a problem with me, but still, back to my point. This is fucking insane because it's like he's saying that Game Freak can't make nothing, yet they made something on a freaking console. Really? Okay. But anyways, let's just get this over with so we don't have to worry about it too much anymore.
Multiple times the amount of money than many AAA games do. But my counterpoint to that would be, if a studio truly is good, if they really are making great games, they will not only have success, they'll be able to regularly replicate that success.
Okay. That's the dumbest thing. They have replicated that thing. They have been replicating that thing. Oh boy. Oh boy. Like, they still have been replicating that thing. They give it us many different types of things.
Other games and other franchises. Not to say everything they make will be super successful, but some of it certainly will. You know, you've got, say, Naughty Dog has Uncharted and The Last of Us. Bethesda has Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
You know, here's the other problem I'm thinking. This is just goes back to my point of this being a children's game. What he's comparing is games that are made for adults that understandably has to look way more badasser because it's for adults, of course. Or, you know, mature people, like young adults and blah blah. He's comparing something like those games that are actually more better. Like, I'm not going to lie, there are more better than Pokemon, but that's the thing. You're comparing games that really are more towards adults. Pokemon is more geared towards children, and yes, everyone can enjoy Pokemon. I already said this. But he's comparing Pokemon to The Last of Us, and I'm not a big fan of Last of Us because A, I'd never seen the series, and B, you know, and even then I could call myself not a big fan, I just not known of it. But I seen people play it, and I seen how people are drawn so impactful. But you're pretty much basing the scale of Pokemon's story to that. And Last of Us, I heard it has the best story stuff. But that's the thing, because it's more mature. Pokemon, it has its fair share of good stories. I mean, like I said, Sword and Shield sucked. Like, with story, it didn't even have like a story. But that's the thing. That doesn't matter because, again, the general audience is children. So, I don't even know what he's pretty much comparing, like, he's comparing a guy who is smart, like, here's what I'm saying. He's pretty much comparing, like this. There's a guy who's smart, but he's not, you know, he's fine, he's not fat, of course, but, and I said fat, I beat it, but pretty much he's just kind of like a guy who's not like the stereotypical nerd, but he is pretty much a guy who's smart and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's comparing it to, like, he would rather choose the idiotic, muscled guy who you bet $5 he beat up his wife and blah, blah, over him because he's good looking. It's completely stupid. It's really completely stupid.
It's like when you look at Game Freak, they have what? Pokemon and Giga Wrecker?
This guy's a fucking idiot. They don't just have that. And I will admit, I see where he's coming with that one, but he's being a fucking idiot with it. Because they actually made better, actually, one-off games that are actually pretty good. Like Hollow Knight, freaking Elephant Badass, I forgot what it's called. Plus Man, which actually, ironically, where Rotom came from, of course. Digger Girl, all that. They actually made, and they even, one thing that even hits his point that he doesn't understand, they also were the one, and this surprised me because I didn't even know this, but they were the ones who helped out with the Yoshi series. So let me ask you that. Did you know that they actually worked on Yoshi, you motherfucker? That's literally what I'm asking. I'm going to wait and see if he even mentioned that.
Pokemon and Little Town Hero?
Although, admittedly, yes, Little Town Hero sucked. That's all. That's their only sucky game I can consider because even though I haven't played it, I heard how terrible it is, and it does look like bad terribleness. I mean, even Game Freak give it a hated, their first hated.
The fact of the matter is, anytime this company attempts...
I called it. He never talked. He doesn't know that they made Yoshi because many people, and I will blame them because even I consider Yoshi more toward Nintendo, but they helped with the Yoshi Island series. Look it up. So basically, he doesn't realize that Game Freak is more important to Nintendo than it is. I mean, to be fair, yes, they don't have much games, but they do make very good games under a rug. And I also for making Jockey Lucky or whatever it is, the horse with solitaire kind of thing. But still, they make good games and they help with the Yoshi series. So what the F?
To dip their toes into something that isn't the Pokemon pool, they're met with nothing but failure.
Wrong. Again, they had Yoshi. Seriously, at this point, I'm literally just buying his ass at this point. Like, literally buying his ass. Because, really, I don't think... And I can tell he's not really a Pokemon hater. He's just a fucking idiot. He's a dumbass.
Freak couldn't find success outside the Pokemon franchise if it fell on their faces. The fact of the matter is, if you gave this franchise to an actual competent studio, I mean, pick anybody, you'd get a much better game. The sad thing is, again, due to those sales, it's probably never going to happen, at least not anytime soon. And it's like, it makes me sad because even with like the highly anticipated Gen 4 remakes, the rumors and that are swirling so hard, I'd say there's a really good chance we're going to see the announcements of Gen 4 remakes this year. And while it will still be cool, I'll say, to see them updated, it's like, you know, they're just going to look like Sword and Shield. They're not going to look like games that were made for an HD console post.
Okay, first of all, not to burst your bubble, but I highly doubt they are going to make Gen 4 remakes. Now, if they are, then admittedly, I'll be okay with it, because I'm not too surprised if they would. But something tells me they're not going that route. Because A, Pokemon's DLC was technically, actually, and this is the reason why it was priced that way, was technically their second version in that generation. Similar to like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. In fact, since Pokemon 25th anniversary is this year, I'm betting millions of bucks they're going to choose a brand new game. The only other reason why I say this is because the rumors are just repeatment of the same thing. It's the same thing as like when Super Smash Brothers, many people keep predicting the character, and next thing you know, everyone's surprised. Oh, it's fucking Steve. Like, really, that's why I don't usually pay attention to leaks unless they have ultimate contents. Like, the only true Pokemon leaks I ever came across, or free to be exact, is the Pokemon leak of literally the 4chan art post for Sun and Moon, along with the character sprite, which means 4. I'm sorry, I'm just saying this off my head, but seriously, and the second one I call it the Demise leak, because it leaked what Demise was going to be, which was the Grass and Ghost type, blah blah blah. Well, technically the whole entire Sun and Moon leak. Then, of course, we got the Sword and Shield, which, believe it or not, one guy was actually able to prove his point. Even though they later changed it off because they said Leon was going to be Team Leo's leader. Turned out that was false. And then, not to mention the actual, art of those Pokemon. Like, the freaking, releasement of Harina, even though she was supposed to be secretly Beads, or Beta, or whatever you want to call him, own starter Pokemon. So the point is, really, those are just heavy rumors.
2005? Game Freak isn't capable of that. So we just have to continually settle for less. Because again, like every other Pokemon game, it'll sell, and and their laziness, their incompetence, will be rewarded like it always is. We will see other people do way better things with the franchise, way better quality games, but not for the core ones because that's Game Freak's wheelhouse. And then we'll wait for the next game to come out that also looks like Sword and Shield. We'll get the next Nintendo system a few years from now, and maybe by then, if we're lucky, we'll get a bump and the games will look as good as, an early Xbox 360 game. Yeah, it's just sad. I don't have anything else to say other than that. That's it. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Game Freak in the comments. Do you just despise this company as much as I do? And would you like to see another studio take a crack at the core Pokemon RPG franchise?
No.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion.
No, I did not enjoy that video whatsoever. Though I admit that I'm glad I reacted to it. That was actually pretty good. Okay, so here's my final thoughts on that, because holy shit. Whew. And again, sorry, PS, so I'll talk about this later. But anyways, my final thoughts on this. Okay, so the guy is completely insane. I'm not saying he's not a true gamer, because the way it looks, he is a gamer. But he's completely insane because he didn't do it all his facts correctly. Man, it does make me want to make another Pokemon video trying to defend the fucking company. Now, like I said, I won't deny that Pokemon Sword and Shield was a little bit of a flop. Because it kind of did have some issues. I mean, I'm not even going to deny that. But it's still a perfectly fine game. The thing is, to my opinion, is all this backlash is now just stupid at this point. It's understandably okay to criticize something. Believe me, it is. I mean, I have dealt with it many times. My problem with criticizing is at least be smart about critiquing something. And that's the thing. When I was in high school, I learned that sort of thing in my high school art class. Because you have to critique something. Yes, you still gotta critique it, but you gotta do it kindly and not stupid, and you gotta have the facts to point it out. This guy, he had some facts correct, but even then, it later just becomes, oh, Game Freak can't make shit, even though I didn't even know what the fucking Yoshi is. And it's even crazier that I'm making it because I don't like the Yoshi series, as you guys can jokingly tell. I call it the Barney series, jokingly speaking. Even though, no offense, because add further to that, the Yoshi series is a series that actually probably also saved Game Freak's smartass. And this is a fact. They actually did make the Yoshi series. Look it up. This is actually a true fact. Later on, it was taken up by other companies, but this is it. And not even that, but he also doesn't realize that Game Freak, admittedly, yes, they do not care, but they do at least somewhat care for their audience. This goes back to a video that I remember reacting a long time ago before the DLC of a guy, and I mentioned him already. It was Cypher So, hopefully I'm saying that his name correctly this time. But he made a video on explaining one of the things that possibly, and it is more of an actual theory on why Pokemon Sword and Shield did not have a very good story, and that is the fact that there was complaints about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon being too long, along with Pokemon Sun and Moon in general. Thing is, the way he presents it is just plain stupid, because here's the thing, that theory has no even holes in it, because it actually seems like that was the case. So, to me, I'm seeing these people like hypocrites at this point. And at this point, my worry is Pokemon series is now going to look even more crappier because they want this blah 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 junk. To be fair, my problem is, and I want to make this clear, my problem is, and this is something I do need to make clear, it's not just Pokemon, because this is just me in general. To be fair, criticism is needed. I'm not even going to deny that. What needs to be happened, though, is we need fair criticism. We don't need criticism that is so harsh that really kicks someone. Criticism is not kicking someone in the balls and punching them in the face at the same time. Which I bet that is possible. I don't know. Criticism is supposed to critique something so next time they do it, it's even more successful. And even then, other than that, also, like for example, make sure no one gets in trouble next time and blah blah. That's what critique and criticism is. Not punching someone in the nuts and face because they didn't do a good job on the first time. And you guys wonder why, literally, why many people, and I still deal with this right now because I'm still dealing with this issue back at the, it's a long story, but many people are questioning why, for example, why I had to literally clear out the comment section of that one video I did, along with also me from the last video, which I think is going to become a trend later on, down the line, of me when I later on warn people to be nice with their criticism over on the Squilliam debunking video. That's because I know good and well there's going to be a dumbass who's going to be literally ranting over stupid stuff. Like, I've seen already criticism beforehand from many other different channels and YouTubers, and they're just saying the dumbest shit that I'm like, what? Like, there's even some that are saying a word. I can't say the word, but you probably can guess what word I was going to say. Well, I'm not going to say it, but you know what word I'm going to allude to, and I'm pretty sure I will be die if I say that, because I'll probably kill myself on, like, social media suicide. No, I won't kill myself. I mean, you know what I mean. Point being that it begs me to question, do these guys even know what the word criticism is? And believe me, really are bad criticisms that are so bad that it needs to be criticism, which is so messed up. And I feel like that's what this video is, just full of bad criticism that makes no sense because it goes completely bonkers. That's my opinion. And it somewhat is factual when you kind of realize it. Not trying to make my opinion a fact because that is pointless, because really that's stupid. But there are some key elements that he doesn't know. It is a fact that Game Freak also helped with the Yoshi series. And there's actually a bunch of games that under their belt that were actually pretty good. I personally love Hollow Knight, and I still hope I can get it soon on my 3DS. Depending on how 3DS is going to go now, but still. And they made tons of pretty good games. I heard that the badass elephant game was pretty good. And blah, blah, blah. Look them up. And second of all, you're comparing Pokemon to games that are actually even better than it, because the point is their graphics are points to adults, while Pokemon is mainly toward children. That's kind of also the reason why Pokemon at this point probably doesn't even care about our criticisms anymore. Because apparently they're more towards kids than adults. For Christ's sake. Yes, they do give a bone to the adult side of things, but really, it's just so dumb. But still, I don't know what to say. I know this criticism. Many people are going to say I'm a Pokemon fanboy. I'm just going to say to them, shut the fuck up. Really. Because that's not your criticism. I'm just being honest with what I'm feeling. But yeah, that was that video. I'm actually okay to react to it. My problem is, this video, like I was going to say earlier, but skip it to last, is now going to have to be put into weekend. Which is not a problem. I don't have anything else to do this weekend. So, hey, at least I got a video for this weekend. Because, unfortunately, my phone is acting up. So, if it gets confused, yes, today is Friday, but I'll upload this video tomorrow on Saturday. So, yeah. Anyways, this has been Floxcat, snapping out of here. And again, my personal lesson to come out of this video is, yes, you can critique. It's not a bad thing. Just make sure your critique is not stupid. Literally, that is the main thing. Like, not even stupid. Just make sure you have the proof and evidence to critique them. Because, in a way, when you critique someone, you gotta be careful. It's not literally punch someone in the face and kick them in the nuts at the same time. You have to literally try to help them to get them back up. That's the point. Really, some of these critiques are crazy. But anyway, snapping out of here. Bye.